Hello, we're back. It's been less than 24 hours and we're back at it. So today, so last night and this morning, I spent a little bit more time reading through the Clerk auth docs. Well, I guess it's the Convex docs about using Convex and Clerk together. So I feel like I know more than I knew before. We'll see how it goes when it comes time to actually implement that. But to start, we'll start at the beginning. Let me share my screen. So what we're doing today is working through the first part of the Learn with JSON Web Dev Challenge Hackathon 4. And here, let me paste a link to this. Oh, copy links faster. I'm just switching to using Arc now because I've heard it was a thing, and also because I wanted to have a special browser where I don't have all my stuff signed into all my personal stuff. So this is a special browser just for you on the stream. But here, this is a link to the announcement page. So we're going to be working through this hackathon to try and build in this weekend an app for like if monsters were real, like an app that would help in that world where that is true. So we'll spend roughly 30 minutes designing an app and then 4 hours across today and tomorrow actually building it out, and we'll see how far we get. I'm going to try and keep my scope small so that I set myself up for success, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, this is the prompt. Monsters have arrived. Build an app to help out in this new world. So I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I'm thinking what I want to do is build something that's like a monster cultural exchange program, because I don't like the assumption that the monsters are bad. Maybe they're just misunderstood. Maybe we need to make a little effort to make them feel welcome in our communities. So we'll run with that idea. We'll see how far we get. There's the Learn with JSON Discord where people are chatting about ideas or like places where they get stuck. So if you're interested in joining, I think that this closes September 9th. What is that, Monday? So we're cutting it in close to the wire, but hopefully that will be okay. Better done than not done, I guess. Or better late than not done. Okay, so I guess let's jump into designing this. So I put some notes in here. So I use Obsidian as my note-taking app of choice. And I like it because it's all Markdown based, which I'm used to using for work and other projects. And then I can also do things like add in an Excalidraw. Let's see, Excalidraw, embed. I want to create one. Let's create it in a pop-out window. So I'll bring this over here. So let's see, what am I trying to do? Let me pull up, I have my trusty notebook where I wrote some initial ideas. Let me bust that out. Let's see. Okay, so I guess let's start at the beginning here. Where can I put this so that it's not, my desk is a mess. It's just stacking all kinds of stuff up. Don't tell. Okay, so I guess let's start with the goal. So I guess the goal is to help build empathy between monsters and humans by providing opportunities for them to meet up and, I don't know, or opportunities for them to trade places and learn about each other. Okay, so our users, primary users are going to be humans and monsters. And I guess what are their behaviors that they'll have to do? Well, they'll have to like create a profile. Oh, here, let me set a timer. I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes to try and time box myself because a girl loves to get distracted. Let's see. What should we use? Which of these alerts is not too triggering? Sprinkles? Oh, that's too much. There we go. That's kind of nice. All right, it's 30 minutes. Okay, it's going. We're counting down. Let's see. So behaviors, we want to create a profile, I guess with at least species information. Here, create a profile with name, species, I don't know, a description. Maybe that's good enough for now. Someday, I think it would be cool to have like a map where you could look and see where in the world that you wanted to go, but that feels like a V2 kind of thing. Here, let's, just to track it, map of locations for users, or something like that. Okay, and then what else do I want to do? We need a way to browse browse profiles for users of the other species. So this is like humans browsing monsters, monsters browsing humans. Something that immediately jumped to mind was like, oh no, what if this was used for nefarious purposes of like monster hunters or something, trying to find locations of monsters. But this is pretend, so I'm not gonna spend too much time thinking about that. But I guess if this were a real project, it would be good to think through that and how to handle like user safety stuff. But MVP, we're just doing MVP. Okay. What else? And then you can browse profiles. Originally, I was thinking it could be nice to do almost like, you know, like the dating apps, like you have to both match with each other to be able to see their contact information or be able to chat with them. Someday it would be ideal to like do a chat, have them be able to chat through the app, again, for like safety and not sharing contact information, but I guess we'll put that as a stretch goal. Stretch goal, users can chat after, well, users can chat with each other in the app, and then I guess another stretch goal would be users can only contact each other after matching. A la dating apps. I guess to start, we'll just include their emails in their user profile, and then maybe we'll just, after they show like, hey, I'm interested, then it'll show their email address. Again, not great from a like long-term safety strategy, But we're doing an MVP. Okay, so let's see. What kind of pages are we going to need? Let's make this blocky. So we're going to need some kind of home page. Let's say to start, I guess we'll have like, what's the difference between what we want to show them if they're signed in versus if they're not signed in? Well, I guess to start, we can just have a list of, you know, monsters. And this would be like monster 1. Here. Let me put this, I'm going to put it in the box. There you go. Monster 1. Monster, whoops, monster 2, and so on. What else? I guess we need some way for them to mark, to like edit their profile. Edit user profile. So then this would be something like, what did we say? They'll have their, well, email I guess will be handled by Clerk probably. So maybe they can't edit their email to start, but we at least need a toggle for species. So they'll either be monster, or they'll be a human. Select one. What else do they need? I guess we could add like about me, and this will just be like a little text area. Maybe that's good enough. Good enough to start. And then what? And then we'll have, so this is how they say what their species is. So this list needs to, whoops. Let's just make this big. This list needs to populate, or I guess filter based on whatever species the current user is not. Okay, maybe this isn't too bad. If we just show their species, well, I guess here they probably need a name. Name. Species. So then we can just show the whole profile in this list to start out. I guess I should label this. What is this? This is a sign in. Sign in or user profile. Okay. What else? So then we need some kind of a button to be like, I'm interested. How do I make this not just sound like a dating app? I guess what could we put in here? This could just be like a, come on. Ah. are like, let's connect. Or maybe just connect to get it all on one line. Okay, and so then what do we want to happen? Here, let me move this. Move this up, getting in the way. So when they click this, I guess let's think about what our data should look like. So some of this stuff can be stored in Clerk. I guess like their emails will be stored in Clerk already, but some of this other data I'll have to store in the actual Convex database. So let's see. Convex data will need to have a table of users, and each user will have, well, I guess their name could also come from Clerk. So maybe just species, and then about me. And then somehow we need to track which, like the connections between them. So if we wanted to do matches, how would we do that? We could have a table. Well, okay, so let's start with the one way to do it would be, I don't know, because you have like a connection request. You have like a way to be like, hey, these are all of the people that I've connected with. And then a list of matches. Or I'm wondering if we need one of those tables where it's like, I haven't done a lot of database design and it's going to show, but we could have like, you know, like user matches. And then this could have like a list of 2 users, but how do you, like my first thought was you could do user 1 and then user 2, but then it's like, oh, what if these, that feels complicated because what if you switch it around, right? Like if this is monster 1 and this is human 1, is that different from if user 1 was human 1 and user 2 was monster 1? So that doesn't feel great. Maybe let's look at the Convex docs to see. Convex, oh, I was using ChatGPT to ask about how Convex and Clerk things work. I think I get it now, at least enough to attempt something. So what am I doing? I'm looking for Convex docs. So I want to look at the types database maybe. Tables and documents, or maybe defining a schema. Show me types. Where's your list of types? Okay, here. Okay. Define table ID, string, number, Boolean, nested object. How would I do this? How much time do we have? 16 minutes. Okay, we'll spend spend a little bit on this. Worst case scenario, if this doesn't work, we could just have them click this connect button and then, you know, like their email would show up. Not great, but an attempt. Okay, but if we wanted to do matches, well, here, let's ask ChatGPT. This feels like it must be a solved problem. Okay, let's start a new chat. I'm trying to design a database that includes a table of users. I want to model connections between users, like how dating apps track whether or not you've matched with another user. What's the best way to structure my database to support this? Okay, a users table, a connections table. Yeah, see, but this is, how do you know? The unique constraint ensures that each pair of users has only one connection record. Bidirectional connections. If you want to ensure that the connections are bidirectional, you might want to enforce this logic at the application level. Pending, rejected. Okay, so this is just an ID. This is a user ID. This is a user ID. This is a status. Foreign key. Oh, to say that this is a user. Unique. How would I model this using convex databases? Let's see, in convex, you model your database using a schema definition that resembles JavaScript. Okay, yeah. Users, connections, user ID 1, user ID 2. This already doesn't look like what the convex stuff looked like. Let's see. Schema. Yeah. I guess. Can I use this instead? Let me try and tell it. Convex does not enforce foreign key constraints or unique constraints at the schema level. Create connection. What is this doing? Oh, this is just switching the order. That's kind of slick. Existing connection. If there's an existing connection, that you don't create duplicate connections by checking for existing records. Okay, so it sounds like maybe we were on the right track. So let's call this connections. And then we'll have user 1, user 2, status. So I need some way to check which user still hasn't accepted the request. Right? Because in the UI, I don't want, you know, human 1, I don't want them to be going through and connecting with monsters they've already connected with, and having it be like, oh no. Like now you think that you've connected with multiple monsters, but really you've only connected with the same monster like 4 times. Okay, maybe let's write out some acceptance criteria. Okay. Or here, let's start with user stories first. As a user, I want to be able to see profiles for users of the other species. As a user, I want to be able to request a connection with another user. As a user, I want to be if I connect with another user that has also connected with me, I want to be able to see their contact info, and I want them to be able to see my contact info. So then maybe we also need a list of matches. God, am I just making Tinder for monsters? Oh well. It'll be used for whatever it's gonna be used for. So let's see. Somehow they need to be able to see view matches. Whoops. And then maybe this one will be a list of monsters. Here. This one will be a list of monsters, but just with their email addresses. Oof, this already feels like too much. Okay. Let's see. I mean, maybe that'll be okay. Maybe this is not so bad. 4 hours is maybe longer than I'm thinking. No, I'm sure it'll go by really quick. All right. So let's go back to this database. How am I going to track this? Because in order to populate this, I need to be like, get a list from connections of all matches that include this user. So let's see. This could have a status. This will either be pending, or approved, I guess. Created at. I don't really care about that, I guess. Pending, accepted, rejected. Interesting. How would I keep track of which user still needs to or of which user sent the request and which user still needs to accept it? Okay. Accepting a connection request, rejecting a connection request. Well, so I don't have to handle rejections because that will just happen implicitly if they never accept it. Okay, so so this will be request, what did they say? Requested, requester, oh no, requester user, and this is recipient user. Okay, so what's going to happen when I click connect? So on click, oh, here, these are our user stories. Let's just move this over here. Okay, so when connect is clicked, what are we going to do? We're going to call the database. Well, first we want to check and see if an existing request exists, or if an existing pending connection exists for these two users. And this one would be current user is the requester and the monster user is the recipient. And then let's see, if there's an existing connection, then we'll do something. Or actually, okay, so when this is rendered, check if existing, okay, let's flip this around a little bit. So here, so this happens on list render. We want to check and see if an existing connection exists for these two users where the current user, so the person who signed in, is the requester, and if it exists, show something, or I guess show like request sent. If it doesn't exist, show connect button. Okay, so that handles that case. And then, so this would be the other way around. So here we're checking to see when the button is clicked, check to see if there's an existing connection the other way. So like if the monster, so this one will be where recipient, where the current user is the recipient and the monster user is the requester. And if there is an existing connection, then we want to change that connection's status to, what was it? Approved or accepted? If there's not, uh-oh, that's 30 minutes. Okay. Well, here, let's wrap up this thought. If there's not an existing connection, then change, or no, then create a new connection request. Right? Where current user equals requester, and then the monster user equals recipient. I think that handles that. Okay, and then our view matches, this would be get a list from all connected, or what is it? Accepted connections. Well, here, get a list of all connections where status equals accepted and requester user or recipient user is the current user. Okay. Is that right? Or at least enough to start? What do we think? I guess we'll try it and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I was gonna do this in a Vite app, but now I'm thinking like, oh no, I haven't done routing in just a React app. I always use a React framework that has like page routes built in. So maybe let's do a quick Google, or maybe let's ask ChatGPT. How do I set up page routes in a Vite app? Okay, using React Router. All right, well, here, let's start a new app, a new Vite app. cd, what was the command for this? Let me go back to my Convex notes that I wrote up yesterday. Okay, let's try this command, and we're not going to do npm. We're going to do pnpm, create convex latest, JSON hackathon 4 monsters. Let's see what this does. choose a client, React, choose user authentication, Clerk, so this is different from what they had us do. I guess maybe we just did this manually last time. It's going to be really nice, though, if this just does everything that we did yesterday for me. But at least now I'll understand it a little bit better. I'll understand what's going on. And isn't that what matters? It looks like the stream stats are doing a lot better today, which is nice. I wonder if it's just because it was colder. It's colder today than it was yesterday. Hopefully I don't jinx it in this moment. But yeah, these numbers are white instead of red. It feels good. Okay, now run cd. Okay, let's do cd learn with JSON. And then let me do teach. I have a, what's it called? An alias set up so that this will open up VS Code again, but with some nicer settings for streaming so that hopefully there are fewer pop-ups and things. Let's pull this over. All right, all right. Oh wait, I set up hotkeys for this. Whee! Okay. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. All right. Oops. How do I open the terminal? Do I not have my... Did that not work? Is this still gonna have a bunch of stuff popping up? Uh-oh, Tailwind. I don't know Tailwind. Okay. Oh no, it's doing TypeScript too. Well, maybe we'll just run with it. All right, so what did we need to do? We need to do pnpm dev. Do we not have to do? Oh, okay, so this is different from yesterday too. This one has the front end, the command to run the React front end, and then the command to run the back end. Bundled together in this npm run all command. That's kind of nice. Let's see, pnpm dev. Was that right? This is good. Retrieval practice. Okay, what would you like to configure? I want to create a new project. Project name, sure, it's not a great name, but it's at least specific. Okay, preparing convex functions. Are there functions in here already? Environment variable. Clerk JW2 issuer domain is used in auth config file, but its value was not set. Okay. Is that in here? No, authconfig.js, process.env. Okay. So we have to set this. Configure the domain on the Convex dashboard. Okay. Let's open this up. Yeah, sure. Open in space 1. This is so cool. This little like VHS tape. That's pretty fun. All right, environment variables. So this is the domain. Okay, this came out of Clerk. So let's go to Clerk. Here, let me move this so my dashboards are next to each other. All right. I want to go to JWT templates, I think, Convex, and then where, this one. This is the issuer. So I need to copy this into my environment variables, and maybe this will work. Okay, great. Open in space 1. Oh no, I have this already. Let's close this. All right. Stop. Well, this one I don't think we have yet. Okay, Vite, Clerk, publishable key. Oh. Okay, we can do that. It is nice that they have you here. Here they're having you add it in the environment variables, whereas before it had you just add it straight into the code. I guess it would be nice if the quick start set you up with the best practices that they wanted you to be using. What am I looking for? Key. Okay. API keys, and I want, what, unsaved changes? I didn't change anything. API keys. All right, so I want this publishable key. Whoops, it already copied it. And then what did we call it? Vite Clerk publishable key equals. This one's in quotes. These other ones are not in quotes. Do we think that's going to be an issue? It does say specifically to add it in quotes. Okay, sign in. Okay, secured by Clerk. I also learned that you can make these test emails for Clerk, where if you add anything here, if you add anything before the plus, it's like this. Highlight this plus Clerk underscore test. If you add that to the end of the bit before the @ sign, then it'll let you sign up using this like it's a real email address. Here, I guess let's make a new one to test. Let me find the docs on this. Clerk test emails. Yeah, test emails and phones. Let me paste this in here. Oh, I didn't set a timer. Let's see. Let's do 2 hours. We'll see how far we get in 2 hours. Or maybe we'll do 1 hour. Nah, let's do 2 hours. We'll do 2 hours and then I'll just check and see how it goes as we're going. Okay, gotta get moving. But yeah, this one, it'll let you do fake email addresses, where if you add this, then it doesn't actually ask you to sign up, or it doesn't actually send an email here. So let's make a new account. So let's have this be the human one. So human plus clerk underscore test at example.com. And then for the password, I'm going to be naughty and just use the email as the password. And then it says in the docs, you just use for the verification code 42, 42, 42. And so then, oh, interesting. Add a random number. Okay, I don't know what this other stuff is doing. But then it lets you create a test account that you can use. So actually here, let's sign out and let's also sign back in. Let's make a new account for a monster. Monster plus clerk underscore test at example.com. And then we'll be bad. And post this in here again, 42, 42, 42. Okay, so now if we go to clerk, then you can see that it creates these users for us. Whoops. Like you can go and look at your, is it this one? No, up here. Look at your users. And so you can see that they're in here and you didn't actually have to go through the email verification process, which is nice because I don't have a million fake emails that you know of. Okay. What are we doing? So let's figure out what's the easiest place to start with this. I guess let's make this header first. If we make like a layout component. How do I want to do this? Components UI. Whoa, there's a lot of stuff in here. Surely I don't need all of this. Oh my gosh, this is so much. This is too much. Okay. Here, I'm just going to start a new file in here. Layout.jsx. Do I need it to be TypeScript? Is it going to be mad? Okay, import. Let's just copy the React. Copy the React imports. Oh wait, this one doesn't need it. Why doesn't this one have it? These ones had it. Well, here, let's see how far we get. What are we trying to do? Const layout. And what do we want to do? No, here. We probably want to have a header. Okay. Let's import React as, whoops, from React. Is this going to be mad? I guess here we're trying to return this. Okay, and I want to have a header I want to have a main. I want to have a, well, let's not worry about a footer for now. Okay, and then in here, okay, so we're going to want to pull out the children, and then in here we'll render the children. Header. What do we want to call this? Monster Cultural Exchange Program. And then let's have a nav. And then this is going to have, let's just make them spans for now. This is going to have a view, profile, or no, edit my profile. We'll have a span. We'll have my connections. And then we'll have the sign in button. What was that called? I have to import that from Clerk. Nope, this is my demo. Nope, this is a dashboard. Ah! This is the docs. Okay, so let's see. What was I looking up? Sign in button. Convex and Clerk. All right. Here. Okay, import sign in button, user button. Okay, I'm gonna need most of this, or not most of it, but I'm gonna need a bunch of the imports. So I need this to get the actual components for the sign in button, and then I also need, this authenticated and unauthenticated components, because that will let me decide what to render. So if the user is authenticated, then I want to display the user button. So this is that little circle that shows the currently signed in user, and lets you see your profile or log out. And then I also want to, if you're unauthenticated, I want to show the sign in button. Okay, it's not going to be pretty, but let's see what happens. So app.js, here's all of this stuff. So what do I want to do? Really, I want to render. I'm just going to delete all of this stuff. Actually, do I have a Git? Did they make a Git repository for me? Nope, Git init. Okay, so I want to add everything. And then I want to check out, actually, is this, oh no, it doesn't include the node modules. That's nice. Git ignore. Okay, I guess they made this for me. So I want to check out just this page, because I'm just trying to make Git remove cache. Okay. Git remove cached source components layout. Okay, and then I want to commit all of this. Feat initial commit. Hi, Calthus. How's it going? Okay. Git status. Okay, so now, now that I have this committed and I have something I can revert back to if I need to, I'm gonna delete all of this. I don't care about this. I don't care about this. Let's delete this. Okay, and I want to import did I export this? I don't think I did. Nope. Export default layout. So let's import layout from, whoops, what is this? From components layout.jsx. Whoops. Why are you mad? Why is this red? Whoops. Signed in button. Oh no, wait, this is something else. Okay, I don't know what. Oh, this is going to be mad now because it doesn't actually show. I deleted that component, the signed in component. So let's just delete it all. So in here, I want to return layout. And then what do we want to put in here? P. This is a test. Scroll down, 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 down. Okay, let's see what this is going to do. Actually, I want to pull this out. Oh no, unexpected token. Whoops. Too many brackets. What about now? Are you happy now? Signed in is not defined. I'm not using signed in anymore. What if I refresh this? Hooray! Okay, cool. No styles, but that's okay. We're doing what we can for now. So here, let's add some super, super basic styles to this. New file, layout.css. Can I just import CSS files directly? Let's see. On the nav, what do we want? Display, flex, just to start. Let's import layout.css. Let's see what that's going to do. Whee! Okay. Well, here, I guess I want this to be on the header because I want the name to be in there too. How come this is showing up under? Is this display block? What's your deal? Div, div, div. Or is it just because it's Too small? No? Okay, let's look at our layout maybe. Computed. How are you all connected? Nav. Div. I guess display inline. I want to do display inline. Sign in button. Can I add a class to this? If we do dot sign in display inline block, is that the right one? No. Well, here. Do I have to refresh this? No. Let's come back to this later. Let me delete this. I'm sure there is a way to do it, but I'll figure it out. This is a better way to pair program for us. You can interrupt, but then I get to choose when I listen to the interruptions. That's funny. Okay, let's add some super basic background color. I don't know, orange. Is that going to be too horrendous? No, that's not so bad. And then let's do for the footer, let's add some styles for that. Background color, blue. Yeesh, that's not great. Isn't there like cornflower blue or something like that? Okay, that's better. Okay, and then I guess maybe I don't want this to be in a React fragment. Let me, because I want to add some flex to this. I guess let's make this a div. So then I don't actually need this, I think. Unclear. Whee! Okay. So now class equals, or I guess here, let's give it an ID equals page wrapper. Now, what do we want to do? Page wrapper. I want this to be display flex, and then I want to make it bigger. I always forget what the Flexbox CSS tricks. Flexbox layout style guide. Background, no, what am I looking for? Flex grow, I think. If all items, okay, so I want my main to have flex, what is it? Flex grow set to 1. Okay, flex grow 1. Okay, here, I want to pull this out. How do I make this? Whoa. That's not what I wanted to do. How do I make you go down? Regrets. Here, how do I? Wow, that's actually a lot better. Okay, so this one, let's open. Ugh. Maybe that's not actually what I wanted. This is the downside of losing or starting a new, exploring a new browser. We're being timed. Okay, close this. How do I close it? Share split view, separate all tabs. No? Well, okay, I guess we'll leave this like this for now. I don't know what I did. All right, let's move this. So flex grow. It didn't seem like that worked. How do I split this out? Where did it go? Where'd my app go? Here, new space? I don't think that's what I want either. Okay, bring me back my app. Which one was it? It's not this one. No. I must have closed it. But I can't remember what it was called. Something weird. PNPM. If we go back up. Up. That's the dashboard. Oh, here we go. 5173. How will I remember that? How do I open this in a different space? Oh well. Portrait mode. Extensions, open split view options. Add bottom split? Okay, maybe we can run with this. Ugh, now we're back here again. Okay, 5173. Okay. So this is not doing what I expected it to do. How do I make you grow? Or actually, do I have to do what is it? Height 100 view height? Is that? Okay. Whoops, I don't want this to be here. I want this to be... Come on. I want this to be here. There we go. All right, let's try... Oh, no, that didn't work. Page wrapper. Maybe it has to be on this. Space between. Justify content. Space between. Maybe? Hello. I am working on a hackathon app. Here, let me post the link in the chat again. It's a Learn with Jason hackathon where you're supposed to build like a monster app. So I'm trying to build this like monster. It's supposed to be like a monster cultural exchange program. The premise of the hackathon is like, if monsters are real, build an app that would like help out in a world where that is true. So I was thinking like, oh, I'll build an app that's like building empathy between the monsters and the humans. Because like, what if the monsters aren't actually bad? And so my idea was to have a sort of like monster human cultural exchange program. But as I was mapping it out, it kind of ended up seeming like Tinder, where you're just like, you are looking at people's profiles and then you try to match with them. And then if you do, then you can talk. But now at this point, we're just trying to get a page set up. It doesn't look cute, but I guess I should stop playing with styles and focus on functionality, because it's timed. Let's see. We've got an hour and a half to keep jamming on stuff today, and then I was going to try and do the last 2 hours tomorrow. You're supposed to spend like 4-ish hours on it, but we'll see how far I get. There might not be much to show. Okay, so I have this page. Let me close this. I'll come back to that later. So I've got my page here, and now I've got a layout. Okay, so now I had to figure out routes. It said, I was talking to ChatGPT, it said to use React Router. Is it React Router or Reach Router? Which one's the one that is old? Okay, React Router. So here, let's go to their docs and see React Router. Let's see how here, tutorial. Quick start, that's even better. Let's find where, I saw a quick start, now it's gone. Let's search quick start. Whoops. Quick start. Just take me to a list of pages. Quick start. Okay, here we go. Oh, the tutorial is the quick start tutorial. Whoops. Sometimes they're separate. If you're not going to follow along in your own app, you can skip this. Okay, we've already done some of this. Da-da-da. Oh, thanks. What about you? How is your weekend going? You doing anything fun? Okay. Delete unused files, blah, blah, blah. Adding a router. I guess I have to install. Let's start with that. Okay, we're using pnpm, not npm. Install React Router DOM. So then this goes on. Okay, so this goes in the main file. Import some stuff. Let's see, where should we put this? I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's put it here. Import create browser router and router provider from React Router DOM. Why am I using PNPM? Because yesterday NPM just wasn't working. I think unclear whether or not it was just like the streaming on the network is too big or like the Mac Spotlight was also indexing things, so maybe that was making it be too much. Or it could be that I killed NPM in the middle of it trying to install, and so maybe it like there was some malformed JSON in my node modules. I don't know. It was a lot. But by the time that we got to the end of it, EJ had convinced me to try PNPM instead. So we're learning many new things, and that's one of them. All right, cool. So that installed. Exciting. So now what do we do? So now let's make const router, create browser router, object path element div hello world. Wait, what? I guess we'll see where this renders. I don't really know. I don't really know what this means. Okay. Strict mode. Let's see, should we put it inside or outside the error boundary? Probably inside, no? Router provider. Router equals router. Okay. The first route is often what we call the root route, since the rest of our routes will render inside of it. It'll serve as the root layout of the UI, and we'll have nested layouts. Oh, I just made this whole layout component. Should I be using that in there instead? Create the root layout components. Okay, let's add the global layout. All right. Source routes root.jsx. Export default, blah, blah, blah. So this has some nav stuff. What's this gonna look like? This. I guess, what did the other thing render like? Does it show? I can't figure out how to pop this into a new window. Move to a new space? Ugh. Space 2. That's not what I want. Pop it out into a new window. Is this going to be a browser that is trying to force me to not have 7 million tabs open at once? Because I don't know if that's going to work for me. That's like a core part of my identity. Arc browser open separate window. Is there a second way? Oh my god, just Command N. Okay, here, let's copy link. Ah, Christmas miracle. Okay. So let's see. What were the hotkeys that I set up for this? This goes here. This goes here. All right. How do I get back to that other space now? No. This? Haha! Okay, what were we trying to do? We were trying to just have this open while we're doing other stuff. How Hello world. Okay, cool. So this is my route, I guess. And then where did React Router go? Let's see, how are we doing in the chat? Spent my whole week fixing some really tricky bugs. Woo! I've never worked in PHP. How do you like it? All I know about it is I think WordPress stuff uses PHP, but I've never actually done anything with it. Access levels. We're learning Clerk stuff today. Is that similar? Is access levels different from auth? I guess they're kind of related. Okay, so this is element root. I guess, do I just want to move everything that I have in my app into the root instead? Let's see, so this is a sidebar with some stuff, and then a nav. Okay, I guess let's copy this layout into the root. What's it gonna do? And then inside of main, is this right? Import layout from route/root. And then if I just make this be root, oh, whoops, I didn't call it root, I called it layout. Okay, what's that gonna do? Is this gonna show up in here twice now? Because I have, uh-oh. Oh, whoops. Let me change this to be root.css. New file. Just copy this in here. What's gonna happen? I guess based on what was happening before, it should show up in here twice, maybe? Oh dear. Could not find as an ancestor component. Ugh. Handling not found errors. Is that what this is? No, that's different. Okay, so what is happening? Could not find convex provider with auth as an ancestor component. I guess, is that because this goes where this, where is it? Does this have to go inside of, I guess let's, oops, wrong hotkey. Let's move this inside here to be next to the router provider. Okay. This seems weird though, because I don't want to have, I want to be able to pass in children from a page. Well, okay. Maybe we'll get to it. Error page. I'm gonna skip that for now. Or maybe I won't. All right, let's just copy paste some things. Source error page. Is there a copy button? No? Just gonna make me manually do it. That's okay. Source. New file. Error page.jsx. We'll just paste this in here. Okay, and then back to our main. And then our router, we're gonna add element, error element, error page. I guess I'll have to import this. Import error page from error page. Okay. Ooh, it's like Clerk, but I have to do it all from scratch. Yikes. Legacy code doesn't have all that fancy stuff. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, I haven't had to build auth stuff from scratch ever. So using Clerk was my first introduction to it. And even that, it was like yesterday I spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how Clerk and Convex work together and just like mapping out all of the like handshakes between, and now we're validating this token and now we're like doing some other stuff. It's a lot to keep in your brain at once. So I can only imagine writing it from scratch yourself must be even more things to keep in your brain. EJ, welcome back. Things are going better. We're doing stuff now. Now we're learning about React Router, which I've not had to set up myself before. So we'll see how that goes. But at least I was able to install it. So that's progress over yesterday. Okay. Here, let's go to a fake page and see if this is, whoops. Sorry, an unexpected error has occurred. Okay, cool. So this is rendering, but not in the places where I would expect it to render. How come theirs has styles and mine doesn't? Whatever. Okay. Errors, contact route, source routes, contact, source routes. So what am I trying to make? These are just different pages. I guess, how do I nest them? This is a contacts page. Import it and create a new route. Okay, that's just more of the same. Nested routes. We want the contact component to render inside of the route layout. Yes, that's what I want. We do this by making the contact route a child of the root route. Okay, let's see. So then, what am I trying to do? Let's go back. So I guess first let's come in here. Let's delete this layout for now because it's just confusing. Okay, so now we at least are only seeing the route, the root route here, and then this is the contents of our page. So maybe let's make, I already forgot what it had us do. So we said that we wanted to have a route for like view, or no, edit profile.jsx. Let's set this up. So what am I doing? Const edit profile, and then export default edit profile. Let's just return a p tag for now. This is a test. Have I ever used Remix? I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't actually used it. Curious about the Remix team's decision to release the next version of Remix as the next version of React Router. What does that mean? Like they're connected now? Does that mean that you have to use Remix if you're going to use React Router? I remember at my last job, we were using Reach Router. I think it like doesn't exist anymore. I think they like archived it or something, but or they're at least like deprecating it. But then we would be like teaching workshops and stuff, and we would be talking about like install Reach Router, and people would be like, "Oh, that's a typo. Like you mean React Router." And it was like, "No, we don't." I think they've updated it by now, but it was a confusing time for a little bit there. Okay, so we've got this new route here. And what do we want to do? Now we wanted to go back into main and add it to our router. Okay, and we wanted to add it inside of children, it said. Children. Blah, blah, blah. Nested. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Path. Whoops. Edit profile. Element. Whoops. Element. Edit profile. Ah! Okay, and we have to import it. Import edit profile from routes. Edit profile. Like Remix is just becoming React Router. Oh, interesting. Does that mean you'll get like page-based routing? Does that mean I won't have to do this next time? Remix is becoming lighter weight, and the two share a lot of functionality. Interesting. Nice. I'll have to open this in a tab and then check this out later. Open in space 1. Nice. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how these tools evolve. I guess it's job security, right? It's like you learn how to build a site in one tool, and then like 5 years later, you rebuild it again in a different tool. Okay. I'll now see the root layout again, but a blank page. Okay. Did this work? Or no, I want to go to edit profile now. How will I know if it worked? This doesn't seem to be doing anything. Did I do this right? Children is an array. Path. Edit profile. element. Edit profile. Why is nothing showing up? Did I not actually go to the URL? Oh. Okay, so this is not nested. How do I get it to show up in between? What did our other one look like? This is contact. Where's the root? Errors. All right, we gave it a shot with this tutorial, but we're on a time crunch. Let's see, how do I use React Router to create a layout component that is shared across pages? I want to inject the page contents into the middle of the layout component. Let's see what it says. Okay, create a layout component. We did that. Oh, outlet. Whoops. Was this what this tutorial was about to tell me? I feel like this was the next section and I just stopped reading it. This is one of my big takeaways after working in developer education for a while, is like people just don't read stuff. Even if they mean to, even if they think that they're following along, they just don't see everything. So that's why you gotta repeat the important stuff to make sure that the odds are higher that they'll actually see it. Okay, nested routes, render an outlet. We need to tell, yeah, where we want it to render. Okay. Okay, so this is inside of the root. Root.jsx. Okay, so then this is going to be outlet instead of children. We don't actually need children here. Sorry. Import outlet from React Router DOM. Wow. Ugh, that's exciting. Okay, why is this one still showing up down here? This one came out of here, maybe? Inside of our app? Okay, so maybe we don't actually need this app file? I'm just gonna delete this from here for now. And we'll add it back later if we need it. Okay, how are we doing? Also assume the modularity of modern ESM imports means people can just use the features they want. Nice. Yeah, we love flexibility. EJ, you're always one step ahead of me. Oh, nice. I felt like React Router was in there, but I didn't. I meant to. It's like before every cohort, I mean to go through and actually build the shopping list app, but I haven't done it, and now it's too late. I mean, I guess I could do it for fun after this cohort, but what's the point? Okay, links. We're doing it. This is a thing. Now, I'm going to have to remember that this is called route and not, or no, root and not layout. Okay, so now I'm going to need links in here because I'm going to need some other pages. Exciting things are happening. Okay. Link. Link. Link to, where are we going? Edit profile. Maybe, please? Please, oh please. Refresh. No. Oh, it is a link. Wait, why don't you look like a link? I hate that. Oh boy, how did that happen? Are you applying styles for me? Just make it blue. Who are we trying to impress? A text decoration inherit. No. Where are these styles coming from? Who wrote this? Okay, well, at least here. Let's come in here. Let's just make them ugly again for now. Text decoration unset. No? Was it not text decoration? How do I? What's the other option? Revert? Let's just change it to underline. We don't have time. I feel like this is going to be a common theme. The deeper we get into this hackathon, the more we're going to be like, just do anything. Just make it look like anything. It's going to look like trash, but... Yeah, I think... Honestly, I feel like our pair programming session the first week where we messed up immediately, I think that is like sets similar expectations of like, yeah, you'll just do your best to figure out how a thing works. And sometimes that means just trying a bunch of different things to figure out what the actual problem is. Unset is a null value. Oh, to go back to a user agent default, you want revert. Okay, okay. You are so wise. You know so many things. Okay. Hooray. I still don't know where those other styles were coming from, but that's a problem for future Megan. Okay, so let's make another route. And then I think that'll be all of our routes, at least for now. Actually, no, I think we need two more. So we wanted one that was matches.jsx. Let's just copy this in here. Da-da-da. And then we want another one that is, I forgot. Oh, maybe that's it. So then wait, how do I do the home page? Because I have to inject stuff. Well, I guess maybe we'll just call it home. New file, home.jsx. Whoops. Home. Home. Okay. Ah, this poor app. Okay, and then in here, I'm gonna need another one of these path matches, element matches, and then let's add this one first. Path, slash? Can I do that? Oh no, wait, this is, what's gonna happen? I guess maybe that's fine because it's nested. It'll do this one and then it'll put this one inside of it. Let's find out. Okay, and we need to import these. Import home from routes home. Oh, no, wait, lowercase. Home, one home. Ah! Okay, and then import matches from routes matches. Okay, and then what are we doing? So let's come into this root and make these other things linked now. Link to, can I just do slash? What's that gonna do? And then, well, I guess let's test that. Yay! Oh my gosh, look at us. Doing the bare minimum. Okay, and then we'll make this one a link to matches. Link. Hooray! Oh my gosh. A Christmas miracle. Okay. Loading data. Do I care about this? I don't think so. I think we're okay for now. Okay, let's work on the edit profile page first. So, what did we want this to look like? So I guess bare minimum, we need to show their name, have them select a species. Okay. We're making a form. Ugh, do I have a cheat sheet on HTML forms? Let's see. HTML form. Nope. Oh well. Let's go to a different tab for now. HTML form. So I know I want this to be H1 to edit profile. And then what? Not images. Why are you mad? Oh, whoops. I guess let's do a fragment. Actually, can I just do this? Oh, doesn't like that this is on. Back up. Okay. All right. Yeah, Excalidraw. I use this all the time for everything. For blog posts, for teaching concepts at work, for taking notes. I love it. And because it's nice because, like, in the browser, you can just, like, open it up and then you got this big old blank space, but it'll also save it for you. So if you're like, oh, I made a diagram about this, let me go back and find it. It'll still be there. Yeah, I use it all the time. Okay, this is on the edit page. Edit profile. Why do these styles look weird? Like, this doesn't look like an H1. Who's overriding my styles? This? Oh no, get out. I don't know. Tailwind. What if we comment this out? There we go. There's my trashy HTML page that I was looking for. I guess now I don't need that unset anymore. Where even was that? In here? Or revert, not unset. That's what we learned. Yay! Okay. Looking like trash. But it's okay. We'll get to styling tomorrow. Maybe. Probably. Form. That's right. I was looking for... Show me a form. Okay. So I said that they need to have their name. Well, here, let's think about what we're doing. Whoops. How do I make a comment? This. What do we want to do? We want to have a way for them to see their name, view only. Well, let's just skip that because we're going to have to make a database call for that. We don't even have anything in the database yet. Let's just start with a species. So we're going to have a species, which is going to have a radio button for human, radio button for monster. Let's start there. And then there will be like a save changes button, which we'll submit. And what will that do? That will go to actually, how is this going to work? Because the first time, I guess I want to make a convex call to users. What did I say? I was going to call the table users. Okay. Users dot replace. What is this? This is going to be API. This is going to be update user. And then what are we going to do? And then we're going to, that function is going to call the like db dot replace or whatever it's called. But to start out, there's not going to be a monster, there's not going to be a user in the database to update. So somehow I have to create a new, well, okay. Oh gosh. Try to get, oh, I don't need to comment within a comment. Try to get the current user out of the database. If there's no match, create a new one with the form data. If there is a match, then we'll do this. All right. Form, so now we have to figure out radio buttons. Okay. Label. Whoops. Label for well, here, let's do the inputs first. Input type equals radio. Oh no, this is like a group or something. God, I have to look it up every time. I know. Where's the search? Radio. Haha, okay. Field set. And then inside of here. Oh no. Ah. There we go. Okay, inside of here, now we're going to have type radio ID. Okay. Legend. What's like a nice way to write this? What's your species? Okay, and then we'll have 1 input type radio ID equals human. Name equals species. Okay, and this is going to be label for human. Human. Oh wait, this has to go after. Okay, now are you happy? Yay! All right. And now another one, input type. Radio, ID, monster. Name, species, label for monster. Yay, the bare minimum. MVP. Okay, now I need a, oh, I didn't know this was why they were called radio buttons. Old-timey things. Neat. Okay. Field set. Nice. We're just telepathic. Hello, Frogger's back. So today we are actually building the Hackathon app for the Learn with Jason Monster Hackathon. Here, I'll paste the link again. Actually, how does the chat work? If you join into the stream later, does it only show you new chat messages, or does it show you past ones too? Whoops, paste. So we're building an app for this hackathon. We're doing like a monster human cultural exchange program. So far, we're still at the very beginning. It doesn't do very much, and it doesn't look pretty. But, you know, we'll get there. And if we don't, whatever, it's a learning experience. The time limit is a recommendation anyway, so maybe that's not so bad. Okay, so now I've got this field set, and now I need a submit button. Ugh, is it type submit? Whoops, what am I doing? This is not self-closing. Okay. Save changes. Yay. What's this gonna do? Whoops. My dog is back. Welcome, Clifford. Back when I was using my phone as the camera, it was like a wide enough angle that you could see him laying down there, but now we're up close and personal, so no Clifford cam. I guess I could pick him up. Do you want to be picked up? Come here. Come here. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Here he is. He's pissed. Say hi. Oh, down we go. That's my weightlifting for the day. Okay, so this submits here, so I don't want it to do that. What am I going to do? So I guess I'll need an on-click handler. Oof, I'm like more winded from that than I should be. He's not that heavy. He's maybe like 55, between 55 and 60 pounds. Maybe it's because it's hot. I don't know. I want to use that as an excuse. Let's see. How are we doing? Right? He is cute. He's a cute boy. He is also sleepy. He sleeps a lot. Lucky dog. All right. How are we doing on time? 42 minutes. So I set it for 2 hours originally. All right. Let's at least get this form working. Okay. So I'm gonna need a handle click function. It's gonna do something. And then this, I'm gonna pass it in here. Is this how this works? It's been so long since I've had to write React. Console.log. Hello. Are you gonna work? Oh no, all these errors. What are you mad about? Did you mean HTML4? Oh, because this is React. I did mean HTML4. Good job. Good job. Errors. Here, let's clear this. Refresh. Nice. Okay, click this button. Oh, whoops, I have to prevent default. What is it? Like event.prevent default, I think. Oh, no, I'm being inconsistent about my semicolons. Oops, reload. Yay! Okay. That's something. Now what? So now we need to actually do something. So this is gonna go in here. Trying to do this. Okay, so now we're gonna need a bunch of, I guess I can delete this. We don't need this anymore. We have a form. Okay, let me think through. Oh no. Whoops. Forgetting to prevent the submit event's default behavior. Oops. Was it a bad incident? Like, did it break a bunch of stuff? Like, how long did it take you to find it? Because I feel like that could be one where it's just like, oh, what's happening? Why is the page doing this? Okay, so now we're getting into convex stuff. let's see. So I'm gonna need, let's make a new file. We're gonna call this users.jsx. Okay, and then this was gonna have functions in it. So here, let me copy paste my comment. We were in here. So I need to make a function. And there's a bunch of stuff that I had to import to make this work. Convex and Clerk. Actually, yeah, this is what I want. Somewhere in here, there was... Is this already in my main? Yeah, clerk provider, convex provider. Okay, cool. So I did this, or it was done for me. Show UI based on authentication state. We did that. Okay, use it in your convex functions. All right, so what do I need? I'm gonna need a couple of functions. I'm gonna need one that's gonna be a mutation. Or I guess import, okay. I'm gonna need a query and I'm gonna need a mutation. Whoa, mutation from, oops, generated server. Export const get current user. Okay. And this is going to have args. This is going to be a user ID, I guess. How are we going to do this? Well, we'll figure it out. User ID, and then handler, async, context. Okay, const identity equals await context.auth.get user identity. If identity is null, throw new error not authenticated. Oh, and actually, I guess inside of this root, I'm gonna also want these to only show up if the user is authenticated. Ah, man, every time. Option shift. Yeah. There we go. Cool. Oh, less than 24 hours. That's not so bad. Oh, key page. More bad. That's a little more bad. See, that's nice. Blameless postmortems. Because, like, what's the benefit of shaming people until they feel bad? Like, it's not going to change the fact that a mistake happened. I don't know. I feel like fear-based management is not the way to go. Okay, we were making this users function. Okay, so if they're not authenticated, then that's bad. If they are, return await context.db.query users .filter. Okay, q dot equals q dot field how do we want to do this? I guess I have to see what comes out of, whoops, not collection, collect. Let's comment this out for now, and let's be naughty and console log identity to see what's in here. Oh, this isn't actually going to do anything because I'm not calling this. Actually, I think that we can check this, the shape of this in the Convex dashboard. Or no, wait, it's in Clerk. This was part of what I was learning about how this auth stuff is all connected. So here, what this, I guess what's happening is that like when this function gets called, Convex on the back end sends a request to this domain, which is our Clerk issuer, and it sends the JOT that it gets, the JW, the JSON web token that it gets in the request, in like this request. It sends that as an authorization header to Clerk, and then Clerk checks to see like, oh, is this legit or not? Or maybe somehow Convex checks to see whether or not the authentication token is legit. And then if it is, it'll add on to this context object the authentication state or like data. But that data comes from this JWT template that we set up in Clerk. So this is the structure of what it's going to look like, what that object is going to look like by the time that we get this identity object. So, oh geez, I guess we have to use email. Or we could use ID. What is this ID going to be? Maybe let's do that instead. Oh, whoops, that's not what I want. Okay, let's see. ID. Oops. Ah. Now I want you to put that in. Oops, too many quotes. Okay, and if I save this, then maybe in here, instead of passing around their email, then here I can filter where Q, I'm going to change this, where the user, if the user so we're looking for the ID fields, and we want that, oops, we want that to equal what? Identity.id. Okay. All right. So now how do we call that in here? So now we have to go back to the Convex docs. These ones. Okay, so now, all right, so this is the use query. Okay. Home, nope, not that one. So in here, really we should be guaranteed to have a user object by the time that we get in here. Well, I guess it's not necessarily in the database, but like this null check, the identity shouldn't be null because in order to get into this edit profile page, we'll have to have fallen inside of this authenticated like bucket. But maybe it's not a bad idea in case they like type in the URL manually. Maybe it's not so bad. Actually, I don't even know what it would happen, like what it would show in that case. Oof. Different alarm. That scared me. I thought, oh no, is our time up? Okay, we got another 30 minutes. Okay, I think we can get this form working. That feels reasonable. Famous last words. All right, so I need this API import. Well, I guess I also need the use query. Use query from Convex React import API from, let's see, how am I going to get to this? I have to go up 2 levels now. Oops, Convex generated API. Hey, gotta turn on a linter. Okay, so now what am I trying to do? I want to check to see const current user equals use query, and then this is going to be API dot users dot, what did we call this? I know, I'm in the middle of something. Get current user. Edit profile. Okay. So this is going to call our function. And then we needed an, did we need to pass in any parameters? I guess not. I guess we defined this to have arguments. But I guess we don't actually need the user ID because we'll already have, wait a minute. Yeah, so this is saying get the thing out of the database that matches the authentication state. All right, so we don't actually need this. Okay, and then here we should be able to just call this and then do something with it. I guess let's just console log it for now. Let's change this. Current user. Whee. Oh man. It's shift, option shift. Okay. Let's see what happens. Failed to reload. Was that an old message? All right. Human. Save changes. Invalid hook call. Hooks can only be called inside of the body of a function component. Did I do this wrong? Inside the body of a function component. Oh, this. Is that what it's saying? Const. Do I have to do this instead? Whoops. I just always default to arrow functions. Are you still mad? Hooks can only be called inside the body of a function component. Oh, maybe this also has to be a function. Function, handle, click, event. Fine. You're still red, though. You might have mismatching versions of React and the renderer. You might be breaking the rules. I mean, maybe. This looks the same to me. Okay. A Google. Invalid hook call. La 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 la. npm link. I don't think I did that. You can only call hooks from React functions. Is this not a React function? It says convert this to a functional component. I thought it was. Let's see. What am I doing? Do you give me any better error messages? Don't know what this is. Why is use query underlined? I don't know. It's not showing me. This is one of the things that I turned off in the VS Code settings. The little like pop-ups because they were distracting last time. How do I bring them back? Settings? Settings.json. Edit hover. True. Should we try that? Is called in function handle click that is neither a React function component I guess, can I not use this inside? I mean, I guess I can call it beforehand. It doesn't have to be inside of this. Oops. Could not find. Could not find public function for get current user. Did you forget to run npx convex dev? I don't think so. You said that it was running. I thought that's what the whole point of... Where is it? Yeah, I thought that's what this did. Oh, wait. Is it mad because this is npm? Let me kill this. Oh, hooks can only be used at the top level of the function. Can't be in any level of nesting. Well, that's annoying. Okay. I'm wondering though now why it is saying that it can't find my convex function, because I thought that this was supposed to work. Okay, let's just npx dev front end. We'll run the two separately. And then we'll open a new one. npx, come on, npx dev backend. Oh no, not, whoops. This I wanted to be pnpx. pnpx. Try again. What? All right. Let's go back to my little cheat sheet that I made. Instead of npm, oh, whoops. pnpm, not pnpx. Okay, p npm. Ah! Leave me alone. P npm dev backend. Yeah, that's smart. X for executable. Good thinking. We love a little mnemonic. Okay, why are you mad? Parameter number implicitly has an any type. Where am I even calling that? Convex my functions. Oh. Delete this. I didn't write this. Let's see. Is this going to work now? Ugh. Could not find a public function. Why? Oh, I guess it's still building. What about now? Oops. Did I type it wrong? Not authenticated. I guess, am I not signed in? It says I'm signed in. Okay, current user. Oh, okay, this makes sense. So, all right, this current user here. So I guess it tries to load the page. Actually, does that make sense? Why is this showing as undefined? wait, do I have this in 2 places? Is it in here as well? Yeah. All right, let's comment out this one, I guess. And let's refresh. Ugh. Not authenticated. Oh wait, wasn't there like a use auth that I had to set up? Show UI based on authenticated state. Okay, I guess I could wrap this whole thing in the edit profile. Let's import authenticated whoops. Unauthenticated and use query. So let's wrap this whole thing in authenticated. So if we're authenticated, show this. Otherwise, well, we won't worry about that for now. Okay, not authenticated. See, but now we're having this problem where it's calling this before it thinks it's authenticated. What does that mean? I guess, is it the order that I have it in? Maybe I have to do this where I extract out the content. I mean, if I must, I guess let's call this. Okay, so we'll have a separate one that's for this, and then we'll make another one that's called content. And then in here, we want to return almost this. But we're going to pull this out and call this content. Maybe? And then let's delete this again. Now, will you be happy? Nope. Did I forget to delete something? Oh, whoops. What about now? All right, all right. Current user. Why are you an empty array? Oh wait, that makes sense. Because we don't have anything in the database. It's checking to see. Okay, so if we add this, why is it re-rendering so many times? That's weird. If we add this back in, okay, let's add in a little thing. So this is identity inside get current user. So it's not that we're not authenticated, it's that we don't have anything in the database that matches the current user. So that's what our problem is. So now we have to get back to this. So if there's not a match, yeah, here. Okay. If there's not a match, then we have to create one. So we're going to need another function in here. Export const. Is it called? Here it's like clerk. Or no. Convex. What am I looking for? Convex database mutations. Did that not open anything? Duplicate. Database mutation. Or maybe just mutation. Mutations. Mutation constructor, mutation arguments, responses. I just want the list of, like, it's like db dot replace is one. Mutations. Maybe it's on the writing data page instead. Okay, inserting new documents, updating existing documents, replace the existing document entirely. Okay, so I guess we can do that for now. Write user query. Whoops. Oh no, this is going to be a mutation. Okay, and this one is going to have args. This one is going to need to have a species. VD, or whoops, V dot string. Oh, I have to import this. Import V from convex values. All right, progress. Handler, whoops, async, context, args. So now what are we doing? We're going to pull out species. Whoops. From args. And then let's await context.db.replace. Okay, ID. What's the API for this? The generic ID of the document to replace. How am I going to get that? Let's see. Because this has an ID But I think that this comes from Clerk. This isn't going to be the ID that's in the actual Convex database. Okay, maybe let's, instead of calling this write user, let's call this create user. Because I guess I don't need it to replace an existing one yet. I just need to make a new one. So how do I do that? Maybe it's not replace. Oh, insert. Oops. Skipped over it. It was the very first one. Okay, so if we know that this is going to be a new one, then we want to insert into the users table, and then we want species to be species. I guess let's just keep this simple. Okay, we're saying if this function gets called, insert a new record, a new document into the users table. I guess I probably want to add the user ID, since that's how we're getting stuff. Let's see. Clerk ID. What is this going to be? I guess it'll be an ID, but from the clerk, or no, from the convex side, they'll think that it's just a string because it's not actually an ID of something in convex. I don't know. We'll see. That's a theory. Here, let's make this a little cleaner. We'll pass in clerk ID args dot clerk ID. We'll pass in species. Does this return anything? Returns a globally unique ID for the newly inserted document. Okay, maybe we just want to return this. Let's see what happens. So now inside of edit profile, now so if I get in here, see, but how am I going to call, because I have to call a use, I have to call this mutation from inside of this handle click function. How am I going to do that? Deleting documents. Mutations. Okay, so this is where we define the function, but now how do I call it in the client? Context. No. Ah! Okay, that is what 2 hours feels like. I'm gonna keep going just to finish this, because I feel like we're close. We're so close. Mutations can call Let's go at least until we get this creating a new user in the database, and then we'll see how we're feeling. Okay, use mutation. Oh, I see. So they get a function. Okay. All right. We can do that. We can do that. Const create user. And then this is going to be use mutation API dot users dot create user. Oh, and we have to import this. Use query, use mutation. Okay, so I guess technically we're using the hook at this top level, but then we're going to call the thing we get from the hook inside of this handle click. I suppose that makes sense. All right, prevent default if there's not a match. So here we want to say if current user, well, and this is an empty array. If current user dot length equals 0, then we want to, if the currently signed in user isn't in the database, add them. Okay, so now we're going to call this, whoops, create user, and we wanted to pass in the clerk ID. So how are we going to get that? I feel like there was a use auth hook or something like that. Clerk, use auth. Blah, blah, blah. Logs in and logged out views. Use convex auth when you need to check whether the user is logged in or not. Okay. Because there must be a way to get... Oh, here, I guess I can see what else I can pull out of this. Because really, I want to... This only has is loading or is authenticated. Because I want to get the auth data out of here. Like, I don't just want a Boolean, I need the clerk ID. Or do I actually need that? Let's see. Well, I guess we can take it out. Let's take it out for now and just send in the species. Here. We'll do this. And then maybe we won't actually need this. MVP. MVP. Okay. So I'm going to call create user, and now I'm going to just pass in species, and this is going to be, how do I get the value out of the field set? Like, I want to get what the current selected. get what the currently selected value is. React get value of selected radio button. This is not actually search. I feel like I keep typing stuff in here and then it doesn't do anything. React get selected value from radio button. State. Okay. All right. So let's import use state from React. Here, comment this out for a second so we don't get errors. Okay. Const selected species set selected species equals use state. Okay, and we don't need a default value. Const handle species change event set selected species to event.target.value. Okay, and then inside the input, we want to have on change. This is going to be, what was it? Handle species. Handle species change. Checked. Okay, so then in here, now I should be able to do this and pass in for species. I want to pass in selected species. Okay. Why are you mad? Promises must be awaited. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, this isn't even how you would do this. Oh no, it is, because we passed this in here. Okay. Let's double check that. Convex, or no, I'm looking for the one with the, what was it? It was like right, or mutations. Okay, mutations. Where do you actually use this? Calling from the client. I mean, this one doesn't have an await. create user. Did I mess something up in my function? Async. Return await. Well, here, I guess const new user ID. Return new user ID. Does that make any difference? No. Save changes. Did that do something? Let's check our dashboard now. Data. Show me my tables. I guess, do I have to have an existing table? Oh, users. Okay, so I don't want this to be on. That's not right. But that's progress. Okay, so let's see. Let's console.log the event, because I'm sure that there's something. Whoops. I'm sure there's something in there that has the actual value of the thing that we want. Oh yeah, see, this has to have the clerk ID, because this doesn't actually... This is like creating a new user every time. Well, we'll figure that out next. Okay, on change. Event.target. So I'm looking for where the actual, okay, species. But is there a dot value? Okay, the value is on. That's not what I want. I want something that says human. Or monster, I can't remember. I mean, I guess I could use the ID. I don't really like that it's tied to that. Well, okay. Let's use that for now, because at least that will work. Okay, so now, if I save changes, I guess, do I need to reload this? Yay! Okay, great. So this is saving. This is a monster. I need some way to get the clerk ID out of that provider. Let me see. If we go back to Convex Clerk auth. Hook. Ugh. Clerk auth hook. Custom auth, no. React clerk. Storing users in the Convex database. Okay, maybe this is what I want. Calling a mutation. You can define a users table. We'll use the token identifier from context.auth.getUserIdentity to identify the user. Mutation for storing the current user. Okay, await db.insert. Token identifier, identity token identifier. So I guess inside of here, I can get the identity inside of this. Okay, so I can do this same thing inside of my handler here. And then for this, for the clerk ID, then I can pass in identity dot what? Dot subject? Maybe? Okay, and then here, this one will be get where clerk ID is equal to identity ID. Okay. Well, here, I guess if we're going to check both, let's have it be consistent. Let's make this one also identity.subject. Just to keep them distinct. All right. So let's go back to our data here. All right, let's delete all of these. Okay, let's try again. So save changes. Okay, cool. Amazing. And so then when I reload this page, okay, so now I need to figure out a way to update this. All right, so let's make let's save where we're at right now, because this feels like a good stopping point. Let me add in a comment of where we left off. So try to get the current user out of the database, and then here, so back in edit profile. Now what we're going to need to do, I got to clean this up a little bit. I don't know why this is unhappy. None of the other ones needed an await. Execute the mutation on the server, returning a promise of its return value. I mean, you weren't happy when I said await either, were you? Oh, yeah. Await expressions are only allowed within async functions and at the top level of modules. Did you mean to mark this function as async? No. Let's just leave it because it seems to be working. I don't know why it's upset about that. But now let's write out what we were going to do next. So we've got this working. We've got this working. Okay, so now if there is a match, whoops. If there is a match, which we can see that there is now because here current user actually has something in it. Okay, so this is the current user, this is their species, this is their clerk ID, this is just what comes straight out of the database. Okay. So then this will be like an else. If the current user is already in the users DB, update their existing document. Okay, so next time we want to do this. Okay, and then here we want to have this be our next to do. Write api.users.update user. Okay. It's not pretty. It's not even what we set out to create today, but it is progress. So that's good. We're at least, we've done a query now, we've done a mutation, we've figured out how to get auth. It seems like the auth, in order to get the actual clerk stuff, it's better to just do that with this get user identity function. So hopefully, now that we've sort of figured out how these pieces fit together, then tomorrow it will go a little bit faster. Because I think really the most important part for this is being able to save this, save their species. Here on the home page, hopefully it should be straightforward to render this, just a list of either all the monsters, if the current user is a human, or all of the humans, if the current user is the monster. So we'll have to create some more users to play with. But yeah, hopefully that won't be too bad. Whew, we did it. How are we doing? Good job today. Thanks. I could feel myself using every last brain cell, but we made it. And it's definitely getting easier. I'm feeling less overwhelmed today than I was yesterday, where it's like learning all this clerk stuff and learning all this convex stuff and learning PNPM stuff. So now it's at least day 2 is a little easier. So hopefully day 3 will be even better. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great rest of your, what day is today? Saturday. And then maybe I'll see you tomorrow. If not, have a good one. I'll see you around. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.